This is the Fit Femmes movement. Have you felt overwhelmed with your fitness journey and feel like you just want to give up? Are you a busy female professional or entrepreneur looking for weight loss and self-care solutions that you can squeeze into your hectic schedule? Then you're in the right place. Let's get inspired to make fitness and healthy living improve rather than consume your life. Together, we'll take major strides towards a happier, healthier, even wealthier you. I'm Julia Hickman, your host and coach.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode on the Fit Femmes movement. Today, we're going to be talking about the financials. I'm very excited to have Tess Zigo with me. She's a certified financial planner, and she's going to be sharing some of her wisdom with us because, as we all are aware, there's some stuff going on out there in the finance world, and it might affect some of you. And with Tess's expertise, we can think about ways to either prevent any whoopses happening, how to be a little bit smarter with our spending, and also how to maximize what you do have going on. So if you have savings or investments, I'm going to pick Tess's brain a little bit today. So Tess, welcome to the show. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing, how you got started with your career, and who you like to help? Tell us a little bit more about you.
Sure. Thank you, Julia, for having me. So happy to be here. So I got started in corporate finance right after college. And, while I love numbers, I realized after 9 years in that I really enjoy interactions with people way more than the numbers. So I worked with a career coach because I really wasn't happy in corporate finance after a while. And I really wanted to find a career where I could utilize my finance background and my love for numbers, but also work with people one-on-one. And that's when I discovered this profession. And I'm so glad I did all these 7 years ago. And so I became a financial advisor to really help people with their money, because I realized that unless you're a finance background like me, right, you don't learn about compound interest and why it's so important to get started with saving and investing early on in your career. Because, the money you save in your 20s is so important because you have 40 plus years for that money to just grow and compound, kind of like the snowball effect. So I was really hoping to use that knowledge to help, especially women. I love working with women. Because, traditionally financial advisors are guys in their 50s. And so it's much harder to relate to, that financial advisor if you're a young woman starting in your career and looking for personalized guidance.
Great. Yeah. If you could maybe talk about women who are, a lot of our listeners here are mothers. So they're maybe in their late 30s or in their 40s. So they're established in their careers. They're maybe starting businesses, but also further along in their businesses. What do you think right now with everything going on? There's inflation, there's gas prices are crazy right now. Everything is more expensive at the supermarket. And what would you say to somebody who's like looking at their expenses and is like, okay, I need to cut back on a few things? Like, what would you recommend? What would be like a process that you walk someone through to cut back a little bit on expenses? So maybe somebody who's, like I said, a mom with school-age children, and they're like, okay, I need to make some changes, but I don't really know what to do.
Of course. Well, first off, I want to say that, to those moms, you're not alone, because I am you. I am a mom to 2 little boys. I'm in my 30s, a career changer. And I feel the pain, right? I mean, I feel the pain every time we go to the gas station, and I notice my bills are getting significantly higher every time I go to Costco. It used to be $200 every time I walked out of Costco. Now it's more like $300, and I'm not buying more things. So I know I'm feeling inflation. It's real. And so, that's one of the most important things of why we plan when it comes to our money is we have to be intentional with our money, and we have to tell our dollars where they go, right? Because unless we allocate our money to the things that we feel are important, we just spend the money, and then you look back and think, wow, what happened last month? Where did all that money go? And so, with conversations with a lot of other mom clients, typically what I'm seeing right now is people are spending a lot on food. And that's a big category for spending. And a lot of times what happens is because we get busy, we're moms, we're business owners, we're juggling so many priorities. We mindlessly order food from DoorDash or Grubhub or all the other services, and we don't realize how expensive that gets over time, because it just, it compounds all the service fees and the tips and everything. And I'll just give you an example. I had a conversation with one mom who she thought she was spending $1,000 a month on food. And when we crunched the numbers, it was actually $2,500 a month.
Wow.
So
that's a significant difference.
Huge. Yes. I mean, over the course of the year, we're talking about 18,000 more than she thought she was spending on food. So I think the biggest thing is just to know your numbers and just look at your spending, right? And there's so many great technology apps that make it possible, because they aggregate all your credit cards where you put all your different spending. So you see it all in one snapshot of, this is where my money went this month. And so you can get more intentional about, oh, I'm spending the most on food, I should cut back.
Do you have a favorite app that you recommend to people?
I used to have a favorite app. I used to use Mint.
Okay, I've heard of Mint.
Yep. And, I love the app, but here's the thing. As an advisor now, we use eMoney, which is paid for. And, one thing to just keep in mind, as much as I love the free apps like Mint, is when it's free, you're the product, right? So your data is the product.
Right.
So be mindful of that.
That is true. Nothing is really free ever.
Exactly. Nothing is really free.
Exactly. And now let's talk about something a little bit more fun, at least for me.
Sure.
If somebody is like, okay, I have a nice salary, that I'm, that I've extra money that I want to invest, or I have my income with for my business that I want to invest.
Yeah.
What would you recommend to somebody to either, like, what things should they keep in mind? What things should they consider? Are there any tips that you would give anyone, or like things to maybe look into that you would recommend as smart and simple investment choices?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest thing here is, if you're investing and if you're growing your wealth, there's different asset classes you can use, but the most important thing to remember, right, is invest in appreciating assets. So for example, I, as a financial advisor, use the stock market to grow my wealth and my clients' investment accounts. So that's one way you could do it. You could invest your money in the stock market. And, there's simple ways to start doing that, such as using index funds, mutual funds, or ETFs, to slowly invest and grow your wealth that way. Some people prefer real estate, but to each its own. There's different ways to do it. The biggest thing is get started and figure out what works for you. And also, I will say, if you're a small business owner, there's tax advantaged accounts that you can use, right? So I do help the people that I work with to pick the right account type for their situation. So for example, I'm a small business owner and I have a solo 401k because it gives me a tax deduction.
These are all very great tips. Is there anything else that you would want somebody to consider as you like help them with a financial plan? So whether it's for ways to like diversify their investing, or I don't know, just like how to manage their money in a smart and simple way. The key is always smart and simple on this podcast.
Sure. Yes. And I think smart and simple wins the race, because we know that behavioral finance tells us that it's kind of difficult to save, because let's face it, we're giving up dollars that we could be spending today for our future self, right? So making it as simple and automating those processes. So for example, automating the investments into the investment account that you use on a monthly basis. So it's out of sight and out of mind, and you don't have to spend time to do it. It just takes care of itself.
I like that. So automate, out of sight, out of mind. So that way you're not tempted to go spend that. You can invest it.
Exactly. And also if you're investing in the stock market, it prevents you from freaking out every time the market declines, because you're in it for the long term.
The long-term mentality. Yes, I'm all about the long-term mentality. Tess, thank you so much for your time today. If anybody wants to learn more about you, they have questions, where can they reach you? Do you have anything that you want to share? The spotlight is on you right now.
Sure, absolutely. So the best way to reach me is to check out my website. It's truewealthy.com. And there is actually a schedule link right on my website. So if you have any questions about your money, or if you want to get started investing, just schedule some time. It's a complimentary consult, and we can see how I can help you.
Very generous. And I'll share those links in the show notes. So check that out if you would like to connect with Tess. So Tess, thank you again for your time today. This is very, very helpful, especially, like I said, in these times where some people might be nervous, they might be scared, like not sure what to do with their money. So I think this is really valuable. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Wonderful to meet you.
Thank you for listening to the Fit Femmes movement. I would love to hear your thoughts on the podcast, so please leave us a review. And sharing is caring. If you know someone who may benefit from this episode, please share it with them. We need more women up-leveling to their highest selves with grace, courage, and ease. If you'd like to connect with me more and have access to free live trainings and join a community of hundreds of other amazing women, then join my free Facebook group, The Fit Femmes Tribe.